You found her.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Shack and Shack Out Back. And
hello, everyone. I'm here.
This week we're talking about, what are we talking about, Dan? We're talking about the movie theater experience. We're talking about a recent film we went and saw, Bullet Train.
Yes, Bullet Train, starring Joey King and Brad Pitt.
Starring far too many celebrities. As always, this is Shack Out Back, a bi-weekly podcast. It's a book club of sorts. We talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about every 2 weeks. And how are you doing, Danny?
That's it. Jim's described us quite well. I'm doing very good. I'm feeling good tonight. How are you feeling, Jim? You were saying you're a little bit ill in the mind.
Ill in the mind. Well, I've always been ill in the mind. I think I just caught a cold. Me and Dan went to a get together on Saturday night.
Yep. A parasitic alien snuck in and infected one of us. Yeah, we were going to go to our local county fair.
The Western Fair, bro.
Yeah, the Western Fair. And Jim called me as I was driving there and he said, The lineup's an hour fucking long, and all I can see inside is more lineups.
That was it.
Like, you know what? That doesn't sound like an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
So we went to a little bakery.
Usually our fair is like split between two big properties, but it was just all squashed onto one property this year. And I looked over the fence and I was like, fuck that! And then we went to... Cassie was upset because Cassie really wanted to go to the fair, and we had her pick where we went for dinner, and we ended up going to Boston Pizza, which is the first time I've ever been there. And let me tell you, I ain't going back.
Yeah, it was, I've been to Boston Pizza a couple times, but that sandwich I got was quite lackluster, and Patrick didn't even get his big meatball.
Yeah, we had a hell of a good dip, a hell of a good time that night, but I think we should stop talking about our random things we happen in our life and start talking about the bi-weekly breakdown there.
Talking about specific random things that happened in the past 2 weeks of our lives. Jim, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you get going there, Danny.
Let's see what I did. I finished Space Dandy. I've been in an anime mood, so I've been sitting down and watching mass episodes at one time. I finished the first season of Space Dandy. Very extremely good show. I'm excited to keep going with it. I started the new Cyberpunk Edge Runner anime. And at first I said, you know what, I hate Cyberpunk. And then 2 episodes in, I said, Cyberpunk's on sale on Steam. I might need to buy that sometime in the future.
I knew Dan was going to start talking about getting Cyberpunk 2077. And as soon as he said, Edge Runner's pretty good, I was like, well, is Cyberpunk on your fucking wish list yet? You sell out?
Yeah, Jim said that while I was looking at the storefront. We saw Bullet Train. That was a good old time. And I have been getting hugely into Deep Rock Galactic. I was playing Death Stranding, as I've said before. But then I saw that sausage beer, and you can get 2 times the performance points bonus. And I was like, oh, I think I might need to put it down. So I've been trying to rock it through to get to level 100. And I might have a chance. Because in the last, half week alone, couple days, I've gone from, 61 to 70. So I think this event's on for 2 weeks, if I'm correct. So I might have a chance.
Of October. It's the Oktoberfest event where they put beers in the game where your stir stick is a big sausage, and you stir your beer with your sausage and eat it, and then drink your sausage water beer.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking gross. Other than that, I discovered this online website. One of the dudes at our board game night told me about it, and it's called Board Game Arena, and it's been a good time. It's really well made. I've also been reading Call of Cthulhu, because we are running that tomorrow, so the next time an episode is on, I'll say, we ran Call of Cthulhu, but right now it's me prepping for Call of Cthulhu, and I'm really excited.
Playing tomorrow, right?
Yes. Yeah, Patrick said he's down to go, so you're down to go. Cassie's good to go. So, yeah. Yeah, tell me what you've been doing.
Me, old Jimby, old Gombus, I didn't do a lot. I've had some shit going on the last couple weeks, so I haven't been doing a lot of, media consumption. But me and some friends who watched Stalker.
Yep.
The movie. It was one of the slowest films I've ever seen. It was pretty good, and I'm glad I watched it. But if I ever need to fall asleep, if I ever have insomnia, I think I'll throw that back on. It's a very boring, very good film.
Asleep.
Yeah. I've watched 6 seasons of Deep Space Nine the last month. It's been a lot of Deep Space Nine, and I do think it's becoming my favorite Star Trek. But I think I told Dan that whatever Star Trek I'm currently watching is usually my favorite Star Trek, so I'm sure I'll change my opinion.
That's how you know you're a fan.
That's how you know you're a fan, when you flip-flop on your opinion.
Yes.
I watched all of season 3. They're on season 4 now, but I watched all of season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows, which is a show I think you would greatly enjoy if you sat down and watched it, Danny.
That's the one that's like is that the one that's like a mockumentary style thing? Yeah. Yes. I definitely have seen bits and pieces of it. My dad likes it a lot, so I'm sure he's done the thing when I go over and he says, Dan, look at the YouTube video, and he shows me a 3-second clip of him saying hello, and then he laughs a bunch.
He shows you a clip of Laszlo's thing, sexual intercourse. And
most likely. And then he turns it off to the next thing, and I watch 25 seconds of ads for a 1-minute long thing he shows me.
Yeah. I've been playing Deep Rock, as Dan's been saying. I had a lot of promotions and shit to do, so I've been playing more Deep Rock lately. I mean, I've turned some friends onto it who have been playing a lot. My friend John, he's put like 65 hours in the last 2 weeks, so it's been a lot. I played some Blood last night.
Fuck, does he really put that much? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I played some Blood last night. I'm trying to get through the expansions. I started Cryptic Passage, so I'm on map 2, I think. And
you're actually like doing it, eh?
Yeah. I love Blood. Blood's a good fucking game. I started Bo Miles' book, The Backyard Adventure.
I didn't even know you got that. And then one day you sent a picture and I was like, that's an interesting thing. And then Cassie was like, that's Bo Miles' book. Look, it says Bo Miles. And I said, how did I not notice that? Is it good?
It's good. I haven't read too much of it just because I've been doing a lot of other stuff, but I'm on page like 30 or something, but it's good. I sent Dan an excerpt of Bo Miles telling the story when he was kayaking around the Cape of Africa and how he wanted to like have a compartment in his boat where he kept his dick and used it to pee whenever he wanted.
It's a good idea.
That was very funny.
I'm almost done my book. I read a lot more at work today, and then I'm going to finish it. If not tonight, 100% tomorrow at work.
Is that still the Bigfoot one you're reading?
Yeah, that's the Bigfoot one I'm reading called Stonefish. It's very, very gross right now. It made me not feel good reading some passages from it.
Are you still planning on reading Between Two Fires next?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good book. And the last thing that I've been reading the last 24 hours, as the person who shall remain nameless, I was talking to someone. I was talking to someone and they said, Jim, I wrote a book when I was 11 years old. And I said, holy fuck, you need to send that to me right now. And it took a while for them to send it to me and a while for me to start reading it. But holy shit, like, I was having a bad day yesterday and I'm like, okay, I'll start this book. Like, it's not that long. And I read half of it and I was howling with fucking laughter. I was sitting in my bed donkey laughing for like 10 minutes.
It's interesting from the little sections that I've read of that person's book. I'm excited to get it back. I'll finish it after you finish it.
I would recommend, if you're 11 years old listening to me talk right now, you have an 11-year-old kid, make them write a book. You're going to fucking love it. But that's it for the Bioweekist Breakdown. We're having a return episode this week, a return to our queen, Joseph King.
Joseph King, and 2 seconds before we recorded, we found out Joey King has a sister named Hunter King. And I never knew that, so I wonder how Joey King feels.
Dan is very invested in the Joseph King lore. Dan keeps insinuating that I'm secretly in love with Joey King, and I don't really appreciate it.
It's okay. It's okay if you are. I never say you are, but I'm just saying every time there's a scene where she's more scantily clad, Jim like looks away and he says, ew! And that's like the same thing a grade 6 does when they see their crush. He's like, ew, I don't like that. And I'm like, maybe Jim does. I
think that's more to the point where Joey King always plays 15-year-old girls who are naked having sex in films. That's why I don't want to look at it, Dan.
Like the one that I can't remember that she wants to be buried. Smartass, that one.
But okay, Bullet Train.
Specifically, we're going to talk about Bullet Train. That is brand new, especially for our podcast. That came out. When this comes out, it'll be, I bet, still under a month old, or maybe just over a month old.
It's 2 months old, Dan. No! It came out at the beginning of fucking July or something.
No! Really? How's it still in theaters?
I don't know. We went and saw it, and there was still like a good amount of people in the theater.
Yeah, it was still. I thought the only things that were still in theaters were like Jurassic Park World Domination or whatever it's called, and Thor: Love and Thunder.
And Avatar 1. Dan wanted to talk about the theater going experience. So yes. do you want to like describe? Okay, do you want to take turns describing our theater experience this time, Daniel? Because we've talked about when we went to Rainbow and things like that in the city, and we had little theater experiences and stuff in the past, but do you want to go with the itty-gritty details of what we did this time?
I just wanted to talk about kind of how we perceive the theaters and what do you think the theater experience is like? Do you think it's worth it or not? Do you think it'll be around in 50 years? Do you think theaters will still be a mainstay, or do you think they'll slowly start to die off?
The first thing we got to talk about, and the main avenue where theaters make their money, is the snacks, the concession.
Oh,
man.
yes, they do. They sell pop. How much do you think you can get a 50-pound bag of unpopped popcorn for? How much do you think they buy it for? Like $40?
2 cents? No, like 2 cents, like nothing. Whenever I go to there's this cinema in our town, and it was called the Wellington 8 when I was a kid, but what is it called now? Landmark?
That's where we went.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Landmark.
And fuck's sakes, Dan's always an accusator. He's always like, Jim's an idiot. He doesn't remember. Jim's an old man. He's going
how
senile.
You described it. I thought your gray matter was dripping out of your ears, and you were saying, I just can't picture where that theater's from. Where was that one from?
That theater is. But I used to go to the theater we went to a lot with my friends when I was a kid, and we'd always go to the Dollarama that's right around the corner and get a bunch of snacks. And
such a smart idea.
Fill my friend's purse with them. But this time, I'm an adult now. I'm 27. And I brought my own merce, my own handbag, and I filled it. We went to the we went to the Dollarama, and I filled it full of Sour Patch Kids and Raisinets and things. And
is that what you got? Did you get glossettes?
No, I did. Yeah, I got some glossettes. That's what I got.
That's good. I got the thing I always make a mistake getting. I got Rolos for whatever reason. I need to stop doing this. I always buy too much food, and then I eat it too much, and then I go, oh. So I got Rolos. I didn't even eat the Rolos. I ate the Rolos like 2 days later. But I got Whoppers. Whoppers
are Whoppers?
Whoppers are the poor man's Maltesers. You know what a Malteser is?
Yeah, Malteser's a malt ball covered in chocolate.
That's what a Whopper is, except they're made with half the cost, and every 5 Whoppers you'll eat, one will be like rancid and squishy and like chewy. Every single fucking box of Whoppers I get, I'll eat like a third of the box, and I'll have one that's like chewy and squishy, and it feels like someone has already dissolved the malt inside of the chocolate ball, and then I won't want to eat more of them. That's what I got.
Abhorrent. But that's the thing I wanted to talk about, and what I always do before we go to the theater is that I usually go out for dinner, or if I'm getting snacks, I'll get them at the Dollarama or whatever the hell else I want to go to.
Yep.
And when we get there, because when you get into the friggin' Wicket, you give the ticket or whatever, and then all the combos and stuff. I made the mistake this time where I didn't eat dinner before we went to the movies just because it was right after work. So I bought a hot dog, and the hot dog was okay.
You got a hot dog too?
Yeah, but I bought these nachos, and they were the worst fucking nachos I've ever had in my life. They tasted like absolute fucking dog shit.
Those nachos were a basis of like, you could actually get served those and be like, I'm not paying for these. This isn't what I paid for. They served it to you in a plastic inmate tray, and the nachos were just a bag of pre-wrapped nachos dumped. They didn't even open the bag. Nope. They just gave you it, and then they gave you 2 plastic cheese dips.
Two hot tubs of cheese.
It's fucking vile. The picture had like nice little jalapeno cutlets and little like sour cream and stuff. If I actually ordered those, I would be probably upset enough to be like, this is not what I ordered. Like, I don't want this anymore.
I was so fucking hungry that I just ate them. Like, I didn't eat hardly at all that day. So
Were they good?
A hot dog and nachos that tasted like a foot cost 15 Canadian dollar dues or some god awful thing.
That's like $4 or something. Yeah,
what did you get?
Kind of fucked. We always get basic stuff whenever we go to the theaters. We always are in for the big popcorn, the one you can refill potentially. I think we just got a medium this time. And then you always eat it within the first 10 minutes of the movie. Yeah. We got some nice... I think Cassie got a drink, and then... What the fuck else? We got like peanut M&Ms or something, and M&Ms are such a goated snack. Eating an M&M...
M&Ms are good as fuck.
M&Ms are good as hell with popcorn. Nice buttery... They use the real butter at that one too. You can go to another theater in our city that if you don't ask for butter, they won't put it on. And then you can go around to the other area and there's just a machine that says butter topping and it's free and you can just press it and it's like yellow water. It pours on your popcorn and it kind of tastes like a food.
What do you think they do if I like put my head under the butter
Like
topping
let it wash
dispenser?
over you?
Let it like fill my gullet as my belly swelled up with margarine goo.
I bet something would take longer than you think would happen. You think the second you did that, someone would be like, "Hey, don't do that." But you'd do that, and all of the like acne-riddled teenagers working there would look at you and be like, "I'm not fucking talking to that person. Like, I don't want to go up."
Me and Dan worked in fast food together. Well, that's how we met, and we did not give a fuck about what other people were doing in the lobby.
Well, that's what I think, right? Yeah, like if I saw someone in the lobby of the McDonald's we worked at, like stuck their head out under the fountain and was pouring drink into their mouth, I wouldn't go out and stop them. That person will stab me.
That's the thing, right? Is that like whenever I go to the theater, like or do something like that where you're going into somewhere and someone has a drink in their hand and they ask me like, do you think they're gonna care that I brought so and so? I'm like, no, they don't give a shit.
They don't fucking care.
They don't give a fat flying fuck about what you're bringing into their establishment. As long as you're not wielding some kind of weapon or implement, they don't give a shit.
Did you ever walk in like when your parents would buy stuff from Dollarama and you were young enough that you were like, don't buy stuff from Dollarama, they're gonna know, they're gonna ask to like, they're gonna kick us out? Were you ever worried about that? Because I remember I was at one point in my life.
I don't think my parents rarely took me to the theater when I was a kid. I always had to go by myself. So
Jim's mom gave him $1 and he said, yo, fucking do something with the day.
Jesus Christ. She said, get your butt out there, son. Go live your life. Go make a fortune. I had a small loan of $1. But no, I don't think that's learned behavior on my part. I feel like I'm just not an idiot and I don't want to spend $25 on popcorn and a drink.
That makes sense. Talking about money for one sec, I remember when you used to get the Publishers Clearinghouse mail letters that would say like, you've won $500,000. You just need to send it your thing. I have a vivid memory of when I was a little kid when my mom opened one and was like junk mail and threw it out and I started crying because I thought we could be rich and she just didn't believe it.
Your mom's not a dreamer, Dan. She's not a dreamer like you. But, we've gotten our contraband snacks and real snacks. We all sat in the theater, and when Dan got the tickets, we were the only ones in the theater, and I was really surprised that, like, the theater was pretty full during the show. It was,
yeah.
Because the movie's been out for so long, but whenever, like, people sit down with their food, people complain to me about, like, there's so much popcorn crunching during movies, that's why I don't like it, but everyone's always done their food in the first 15 minutes of the
I know.
show. Like, I ate my hot dog, my nachos, my box of Glacenettes, and a bag of fucking Sour Patch Kids, I think in 15 or 20 minutes.
That's fucked.
Because I didn't have dinner, and I was talking to Patrick and just fucking scarfing.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, if you're still eating popcorn like 45 minutes into a movie, you're a sociopath. Something's wrong with you if you can not eat the popcorn for that long. I eat it all by like... It's bad if you get there when the trailers start, because I'll start eating with the trailers, and then I won't even have any for the movie, and then my lips will just be all chapped.
You always gotta get a drink, Dan. I always bring water in with me to the theater. That's why I like having a Merce, so I can bring my little drink and my little socks and my little
Glacenettes,
my little chocolate covered raisins, and I'm all good.
That's good. That's a good idea, Jim.
Into the movie experience, I don't think this was I think this was a good movie to watch in the theater. Bullet Train, getting into the film. It's a very simple premise.
It's what I call a popcorn movie. It's a nice movie to watch with your kids or with your family or with your buddies. There's maybe not your kids. Maybe not your kids.
But it's a very simple story. It's about a bunch of hitmen on a train, and they're very exaggerated characters. There's Brad Pitt. He plays Ladybug, and he's a very unlucky man.
Everyone has funny code names too, and they do like the Borderlands intro where they show you their code names and stuff. Yeah.
There's Tangerine and Lemon, Kick-Ass, and the fella from Godzilla 3.
Yep.
There's the Hornet, which is a lady from Deadpool who poisons people. Yep. There's Bad Baby.
The Wolf, not Bad Baby, idiot.
What the fuck
Bad
is his name?
Bunny.
No, Bad Bunny? I don't know. I don't know these fucking people. He played the Wolf. And then who was the old guy? Who's the old guy? They all had code names. There was the Elder, and he was a fella. There was the White Death. That was Michael Shannon. Is that
That's
his name?
Fucked. I didn't expect it to be Michael Shannon. Me and Cass just watched Take Shelter, and then we saw him, and I was like, is that Michael Shannon except like 25 years in the future?
Dan's right about movie trivia, everybody. Give him a clap.
I'm right, Michael Shannon.
It was just a stupid film about people being in a situation where they said quippy dialogue to one another. It reminded me of like Tarantino movies, like the old Tarantino movies that would come out in the 90s and the early 2000s where people were copying Tarantino, but they were all fucking shit movies. But this wasn't. It just had like nice little quippy dialogue, and then horrible fucking fights and murder would happen where people's heads would get blasted off.
It was weirdly violent at some points. It was good. The action was really nice, but it was like normal, and then a dude would get slammed into a train post at 200 kilometers an hour and explode. I was like, okay.
Guys getting cut in half and shit.
Yeah, weird stuff like that.
It was just like a nice, simple story. And
it's good.
I feel like the distracting part in this film is they have stupid celebrity cameos for 8 seconds.
It was weird how many there were.
Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum and 100
Joey
other
King
people.
played an entire character, and it distracted me the whole movie.
It was just shit like that. I think it's the same guy who directed this movie also produced the John Wick films.
Really?
Yeah, I think he had some clout in making this movie, so it probably just people were like, oh, I want to be in your project. And then, I mean, some of them were used to a greater or lesser extent. I think Channing Tatum did a really good job. There was a lot of jokes that he was doing that people were laughing at in the theater. They weren't
Ryan Reynolds had 1 millisecond of screen time. He was literally he like drove by the set when they were filming, and he was like, I'll just walk in this one scene, and that's it. That's all he did.
He just took his helmet off and winked.
Yes, he didn't even say anything. I don't think. Maybe he said like, I'm Carver, and then just left.
But yeah, it's just a nice little caper film. It's a nice little caper film where they're all stuck in the train. It's like Murder on the Orient Express, but it's not sleuthy, and it's just a horrible murder. And it's also a very stylized film.
It is.
I think that stylization increases as the movie goes on, where it's very simplistic at the beginning, and there's not too much style. It's just set in Japan, so the neon lights and whatever are very apparent there. But by the end of the movie, they're like the pieces of the bullet train have been sloughed off, and they're like in fire, and they're cutting each other up and going in slow-mo and shit. And the train is crashing, and people are flying through the air and stuff like that. But I think that was a nice gradual thing.
Yeah, the movie has like 2 climaxes. It had a really good pace for like a theater movie. It was like action, and then a climax, and then I'm like, there's still like 40 minutes left. And then it ramped up again, and there was another climax, and then it finally ended. And I liked how it ended, too. It was kind of good all the way through. I'm just, yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie. I feel like it could be off-putting for some people, because there were some points that were fairly fucking gratuitous. Like, when the wolf was at the wedding, and then
that was weird.
Dying. And every time they talk about the wolf, they flash back to the wedding, and every time they flash back, they show the scene where a woman was vomiting blood,
like a fire hose of blood.
Like every time, I think they cut back to the scene like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Where it's just a scene of a woman like spewing blood out of her mouth. Like, it's not very nice. It got comical with the point where it happened like the 3rd or 4th time. I started laughing in the theater.
And every time they would say his name, it would howl too and flip back to that scene of a woman vomiting blood.
I think that that was a mother exclamation point moment for me. I think I talked about that in earlier Shack Out Back, where spoilers. I don't give a fuck if I spoiler mother exclamation point for you. So if you give a shit about that terrible goddamn movie, skip ahead a minute. But the part where they're ripping apart the baby and eating it like Jesus, I was just howling with laughter in the theater, and I had that moment here a couple times where no one else was laughing, and I don't know if you noticed it, Dan, but I was fucking dying
I noticed.
laughing
Trust me, I noticed, Jim. Should I watch Mother exclamation point?
Sure, if you want. I'm not doing it for a Shack Out Back. I will veto it, but if you want to watch it and then tell me how you liked it, then that's fine.
Maybe I'll watch it on the weekend.
But getting back to the theater experience, I think this movie was a good movie to watch in the theater because it had a lot of funny parts and moments to it. Not just where everyone else was silent and I was howling like a donkey, but there was a lot of collective moments where everyone in theater was laughing and everyone was quiet and no one was like being an annoying fucking asshole during the film.
We had that's the thing that'll describe your theater experience and dictate it. We had a really good audience. No one was talking. No one was screaming and hollering. No one was checking their phones. I'm so surprised people even do that nowadays, but I've still seen that even a couple months ago when we would go to the movies. I see some dickhead checking his Candy Crush level. But no, it was good. Everyone was nice and respectful, and we all cheered and clapped and cried at the same moments.
This isn't your fucking living room, buddy. Go check your Candy Crush levels at home.
Yeah, pretty much. But another thing theaters have gotten hugely better at, especially in the last like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The chairs. Jim, do you remember Rainbow Cinema's chairs before they're the chairs they were now?
Well, they still have those chairs at what's that place on Warncliffe?
Highland. Is that what
Highland.
you're thinking of?
Yeah, the Highland. We have an art.
Yes.
We have an art house theater in our town that just has one screen, and they'll show films on.
We've gone there a couple times.
Film.
I like it.
I like going there a lot.
I like
because
going
they
there
show
too.
movies that I'm like, shit, I'm not going to watch that anywhere else. I might
Yeah,
as well go see
I
it.
like
We
it.
saw Mandy there. We saw,
yeah, we did. We should go there again. We should look what they're going, and we should go there in like a week.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, I don't mind sitting in a theater. Like, when you picture a theater in like a cartoon show where they have the big red chairs that flip down, the seat flips down. I don't give a shit because I don't have a bad back or achy bones. I do, but I can deal with it for 2 hours.
Jim deals with his bones.
But every theater in our town now basically has the big recliners. I think you'd be in the minority of movie theaters now if you didn't have recliners in your
I would think
theater.
so, yeah. Everyone's got like Wall-E-esque chairs where the big people sit and you lean back and it's beautiful. They feel so comfortable. How do you feel? I'm going to shoot you with something, Jim. People bring blankets and like cover themselves, and most people, the chairs are kind of built with twos in mind. So, like, you can take up the armrest and kind of lean back together. Do you feel that's weird to do, to bring a blanket to the movie theater and, like, put a blanket on you in public and sit on those public chairs and, like,
And
cuddle up?
And start masturbating.
And start, like, giving a
stroking each
hand
other
job
off,
under the
yeah.
blanket? Yeah, that's what I'm kind of... I think it's weird. Every time I see people do that, I'm like, that's kind of weird.
I've definitely used my coat in a theater before.
To get a hand job?
And to get a hand job.
To give one?
To give a hand job, no. But I've definitely used the coat like in the middle of winter if I'm wearing my coat and I'm watching
Jim's
a movie.
homeless. Jim's just describing being cold.
I will use my coat as a fucking blanket for my lap when I watch a movie. Yes. Would I bring a big fleece blanket like my duvet from my bed?
Yeah. You
to
bring
go to
your
the
own.
theater?
You bring your own comforter and your own pillow.
No, I wouldn't do that. I think that's a little strange.
I think it's weird. I always see these people doing it, and I'm like, this is a public space, and like these are public chairs, and like your blanket's it has a high probability to touch the ground at one point, or like touch the chairs are bad enough. They don't clean those chairs.
Get butt ooze all over your friggin' blanket.
Yeah, get your movie slime on your blanket.
Well, I think getting back to the theater experience we had now, this was a good experience. Everyone was laughing. We got out there, and I had looked up reviews of the movie before, and I kind of
wanted to bring them up.
Just getting to the end of Bullet Train. It has like a 5 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't think it deserves it.
No,
I think it's a good movie.
It's one of those crowd pleasers. It's got like a 50% on Metacritic and like a 50 on Rotten Tomatoes, but on IMDb it's got like a 7.5 or an 8. So it's one of those movies that's like, Roger Ebert was like, I dislike Bullet Train. Roger Ebert's Ghost.
Roger Ebert would say, there's a woman in this and she gets shit by a truck. I hate this movie. I fucking hate Roger Ebert. The other thing
Hasn't he been dead for like 20 years?
11 years. The other thing I hate more than Roger Ebert is in like 2013 when I look up movies, like a new movie, and it would, like beside Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb, it would have RogerEbert.com and have a star rating to it. And I'm like, this fucker's dead. And I go to the website and it was just some fucking guy posting on his website. That's so fucking shitty.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. And as I've gotten older, I have not given a rotten rat's ass about reviews of movies. I like Rotten Tomatoes because it gives you kind of a barometer of like, there's a 50-50 shot. You're going to like this. And I think that's what you should see it as. I have talked about it on the podcast before that I think rating things an arbitrary number is stupid and like reductionist. Like it's just like a stupid fucking thing to do. And it's just stupid internet culture that's propagated that, and I hate it. But yeah, this movie was great, and I can see people not liking it because it was very gratuitously violent and stupid. But I think we talked about in the RRR podcast where I'm like, man, like I miss the movies that were just dumb. Like I like stupid movies. I like Hobo with a Shotgun. I like Commando. I like all the dumb movies, and I want more dumb shit in my movie. Yeah. I don't want movies to be all sad and look fucking brown and have CGI in the rain. Like, I don't give a shit about that. I want to have a fun time or an interesting or an engaging time.
Brad Pitt should have lost something in the third act and went outside and stepped outside of the train and smashed his hand against the glass and screamed in the rain.
She said, Martha! But, I just want to... When I watch a movie, me and you have talked about this for everything. We just want to be engaged by something. If your movie's boring and lackluster, then it just shouldn't be made.
Yep. Pretty much.
But yeah, do you think that Rotten Tomatoes scores really give a good indication of what movie is going to be seen?
I don't think so. I think all those review things are bad. It's the same with the problem with any review generally.
Well, I think video games it's worse because
it is.
People will be like 7 out
I
of
love
10.
it. I love it. I love it.
I fucking hate you. I'm gonna kill you. And every game either gets like the lowest score a video game can get on a big video game review website is like a 7.5.
Yep.
It's just fucking dumb.
You either get an 8 or above and it's good, or a 7.5 and below it's bad. And you'll never ever see games get like a 1 or a 2 unless they're truly like
heinous.
Unless they've been functioning.
Unless they've been out for 2 weeks already and everyone's already dogpiled them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, even shit like Cyberpunk... we were going on a video game tangent, but even shit like Cyberpunk 2077 when it came out, that deserved a 1 or 2 or 3. That was fucking dog shit.
Yeah, and so many games are live services now that it doesn't really make sense to review them. Like, what would you review Deep Rock when it came out as? Like, Deep Rock would have got like a 6 or a 7 maybe, but like Deep Rock's a 10 out of a 10 game. It's the same with Cyberpunk. It was really bad when it came out, and now they have the anime, and I think it's really good.
Shut up. Dan saw there was a lolly in the fucking anime, and now
that's not true. That's not my scene. I will tell you a story though. I told Jim this. Did I tell you this or did I tell Brian this? I told you this. The CD Projekt Red guys were like, we saw that there's a lolly in the test screening. Can we like remove that like from the thing? We don't really like it. And I think Trigger makes the Netflix anime, and they were like, whatever the production company was like, yeah, no, we're not removing it. Like, if you want us to remove it, you can just go find someone else to do your anime. And they were like, okay, we'll just keep it in then. Yeah, it's not my scene. I think all that stuff's a little bit weird. I think
it's very weird, and I don't like it, but...
Yeah, it's definitely weird, but I mean, it's your creative vision, I guess. Yeah, she's a good character. She's a really funny character.
If you want to stick to those guns, CD Projekt Red sure didn't, and capitulating to the Communist Party of fucking China.
Oh, no. Yeah, pretty much, right?
Fuck them.
Jim hates them. Again. Jim hates them, but he loved... You played... Okay, fuck it. We're not going to talk about video games. Talk about
a very tangent-y episode.
This has been a good episode.
When have we had bad theater experiences? We've talked about a couple of them, but the one I wanted to talk about was when we went and saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That was one of my least favorite fucking theater experiences me and you have ever been to together, where we sat down, and this movie also sucked. And Dan thinks it's okay, but I don't like this movie at all.
You're so dumb.
And me and Dan were sitting up there, and these fucking gaggle of 15-year-old girls were beside us, and they started talking and talking.
That's when I said some shit to him.
And then Dan leaned over, and he was just like, "Are you going to be talking this entire time? Like, shut up!" And then
I didn't say that.
They got stone fucking quiet and looked like they were going to cry, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!"
I didn't say that.
I went and sat somewhere else.
Jim, okay, this is what happened. They were talking, and they were saying, I fucking love fucking Stacy. Have you heard shit? They were talking about high school or something. And I gave them the warnings that you do. I like did the look back. I did the like look, and then I did the long look to make sure someone saw me, and then someone saw me, and then they were quiet for like 2 seconds. And then I was like, oh my god, I've never said anything to anyone, but like this is fucking pissing me off. They're just talking during the movie. And I turned and I was like, are we gonna do this the entire fucking movie? And all of them just went, no, that's it. And then the end of the movie, we were walking out of the theaters and they were in the lobby pointing and saying shit at me. And now they're all on my hit list.
Dan's gonna fill them with arsenic.
I know where they all live.
But that's the thing, right? When I go to the theater, when I pull my sordid fucking corpse out of my house and I go to the theater, I don't want to deal with bullshit.
Fuck no.
Like,
that'll
sometimes
ruin
it's
it
fine.
instantly.
Sometimes it's fine. We went and saw Cats right before COVID.
Cats was fucked, but it was good fucked. It added to the ambiance.
There was 80 kids running around and falling over the fucking chairs, and people were on their phone and shit.
That was
and I was
weird.
Like, this is madness. I don't care. But when I go to the Highland and we're watching a fucking art movie, we're watching Mandy. Everyone's quiet. And I'm
the
like,
Highland's good. The Highland exudes the same like air as when you go to an anime screening for like a special anime movie that's only there for like one screening. Everyone's there for the same reason. Everyone is sitting in those seats for the same thing, to watch the movie. If I went to the Highland and I was like on my phone, they'd fucking kick me out instantly.
Yep.
I'd get people screaming at me.
They would tell you to go fuck yourself and they'd kick you right the fuck out of there, which is the best thing to do. Like,
yes,
these theater chains don't give a rotten... I keep saying...
No, they don't.
They don't care about whatever's going on in here. Like, to actually affect change, if someone was being, like, disruptive in the theater, you'd have to go out, get a manager, they'd come in, ask the guy to leave, like, he would say no, and then they wouldn't do anything. And then nothing would happen. So, I've never had a truly horrible theater experience where someone was being disruptive, but I think I've talked about the story of when I saw Mother Exclamation Point, where the movie was awful and I was laughing and I wanted to leave and I couldn't, but there is someone in there, and me and Dan talked about this before, like probably a year ago, but there's someone in there making clicking noises and like grunting and shit, and I think it was someone who is mentally handicapped.
Oh, it's one of those hard,
but
it's such a shitty hard to walk line.
I don't think that...
Why would you...
why would you bring that person into that theater? I get maybe you're a full-time care. Like, if this is your child and you practice full-time care and you need to be watching them all the time and you just want to go out and see the new Jennifer Lawrence movie, you bring them with you. But, like, I don't know, man.
There are special showings, though, that are for things like that. And it's such a shitty thing to say, but it's like, it genuinely... makes it hard to watch the movie. It's only happened once or twice, but it's like guttural sounds the entire film and like clicking and then like saying stuff to someone back there, and it's like, this is a bit awkward because you can't really... I'm not mad or anything. I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess this is the theater experience this time. Yeah.
Well, there's a difference too between when me and Dan went and saw, I think it was Godzilla 2, like the American version Godzilla 2. We went to...
Is this the Western thing where the people were going...
Western theater. There were like two people who were older in the background, just being fucking cocks and balls. Like, just being fucking dickheads. They were just eating food and like grunting and picking their fucking feet and shit. They were being absolute fucking cocks.
Yeah, you could tell they probably go to the Western cinema because they did that at Landmark, and some jock was like, I'll fucking smash your head in if you keep making noise.
Jesus Christ. Well,
they were going, the whole fucking movie.
The theater at the local university is also weird because it's just a lecture hall that they turn into a theater. And I don't know why. It's a very weird thing because they'll play regular movies there. Like, I think the Godzilla 2 had just come out and we went and saw it with you and Cassie and her brother and his girlfriend. And it was a real movie that came out and we were showing it. But they also do, like, that's where I saw The Room for the first time.
They do The Room, like, and they do a lot of cult classic, stuff like that. It's very interesting.
I don't know why that theater's just not for that stuff. I guess they wouldn't get tons of people going. But, I mean, you're running a university. You shouldn't be hemorrhaging money and need to get another revenue source from selling $5 tickets to students. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Jim, do you think there'll be a Bullet Train 2? I think there will be.
I hope so. I hope it makes it. I don't know if it made too much money.
It made a budget of 90 million USD. I don't know if that ever includes advertising and stuff. It doesn't.
I think it made over the advertising budget.
It made 220 million so far in the box office. Didn't light the world up, but that's a good amount. They made their money back, which is what they want.
Yeah, I would go see a Bullet Train too. I enjoyed it. Do you have any other like theater experiences you want to talk about? Overall, like, I go to the theater when there's a movie I really want to see or someone else wants to go see it. And I have to be, like, convinced to go. I'm the kind of guy where I'm like, I can fucking wait till I get the Blu-ray in the year from now, or it's on streaming, or something else. How do you feel about that?
I feel that is true. I think the area we're from gets shafted a lot. I like going to anime movies whenever I can. I like to check Landmark for, like, Landmark or Silver City or what have you, for, like, the special anime screenings of stuff. And it used to be good. A couple of years ago it was good. London used to be very good. You'd get like one or two screenings of everything. Like Your Name, that's where I saw Your Name. That's where I saw Ride Your Wave and a bunch of other stuff.
With the lady in the sky. And then Japan flooded.
Summer, Weathering with You, maybe? I think that was it. Weathering with You.
One.
That was the one with the Sunshine Girl, right?
Yeah,
That's what it was?
Yeah.
Weathering with You. That was a cool one. Didn't me and you go to see the one where the guy got changed into a water spirit because he died surfing?
No.
Did you see that? No? Maybe that was me and Cass then. But now London gets fucked for it. Like, it's all in Toronto. Every screening is like Mississauga Theatre, the Odeon in Mississauga or whatever. And I'm always like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, there's so many movies that I just look on Amazon and wish list the Blu-ray because I'm like, I'm going to forget about it and then I'm never going to watch it. Very annoying.
I think that you can get from what we said that, you know, I don't mind going to the theater. Like when I had I think I talked about it in Check It Back. When I had a bad week a couple months ago, I just went and saw The Black Phone by myself. And I had a great theater experience there. Everyone was quiet and jumping around and the scary stuff happened and stuff like that. But if I want to watch a movie I'm very interested in, I hope it comes to the Highland, because then I'm going to go and see it with people who actually want to watch the fucking movie and just sit and watch it and then talk about it with my friends afterwards. Like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. And I feel like more to what I've enjoyed more recently, because I was a big cinephile when I was like 19. I wanted to watch every movie and everything, and I still like movies a lot, and I watch a lot, but I like watching movies by myself, and I can't always justify going to the movies by myself every time a movie comes out that I want to see. I feel like I get the best grasp of how I feel about a movie when I watch it just me. But when I want to have a fun theater experience or a fun movie watching experience, I go to your house, we go on Discord, we stream over Discord and watch a Netflix movie and we talk over it, and that's how we watch The Tall Girl and all the Kissing Booth movies and stuff like that. The
Tall Girl, I forgot we even fucking watched that piece of shit.
And that's what is being... That's what's destroying theaters, right? Is I would just rather stream it at home with my friends.
Yeah. It's I get it. Like, you can rent movies, some movies, extremely quick, even while they're in theaters, and you can buy one of the tickets or whatever to stream it to your house. And it's like, you look at it and it's like $35 or whatever, and it's like, that's a lot. But if you have kids, like if that's your movie night with your kids, and it's like you, your husband, your two kids, that's fucking cheap as shit. And you make your own popcorn and stuff. And your friends, you invite 6 people over and you watch it on your nice TV, and you don't have to worry about people fucking doing shit in the theater. It's a nice experience, but
you don't have to worry about people coughing and
driving,
snorting,
parking,
and doing a dry handy under a blanket.
Yeah, I was never the guy. I never wanted to do shit like that in any movie theater. I never have with any of my ex-girlfriends or my current girlfriend. It was always gross to me. I'm like, why would you want to do that? Like, woman, I paid $12 to see Toy Story 3 in theaters. I'm going to watch it.
I'm not going to be distracted by my handy J. I can do that later.
Quite literally.
I don't think I've ever seen any of that when I went to a theater, but I remember...
really?
I remember I was studying in... This is a gross story.
A movie?
I was studying in the basement of a library at Western, and I just had my headphones on or whatever, and I saw these people walk by me, and I just kept... Like, I was watching RLM videos and fucking studying, I think, and I just saw, like... I was studying in this booth, and then I saw 2 security guards run by me. And I was like, what the fuck? And I took my headphones off, and these 2 people started to scream. They were fucking, like 6 booths behind me in the basement. They were just banging in the fucking booth.
Jim didn't even know. He chose not to see.
I closed my eyes. I said, sex bad, and I didn't pay attention. But yeah, no, I've never really had an inclination to do that. I have a hard enough time showing emotion when it's just me and my partner.
Classic Jim. That's a classic Jimism.
But yeah, Bullet Train is great. It's one of the best Joey King movies that's come out recently, because The In-Between was fucking shit. And
the Princess was mid. The Princess was meh, but Bullet Train
was middling. Yeah, Bullet Train was fun.
Bullet Train was good. Yeah, The In-Betweener, the
In-Betweeners, The In-Between.
The In-Between. That's what it's called. What's The In-Betweeners?
I don't know.
I think it's a kids show. The In-Between was something. I can't really remember what happened.
Joey King had a ghost boyfriend.
I remember that, but I don't remember.
She went in a big jacuzzi and talked to her ghost boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah, she went to the hotel and she was like floating in the ceiling or something. I kind of remember.
Joey King gets hit by broken glass. I remember that.
Oh, yes! Okay, now it's all coming back to me.
Me and Dan literally watched this movie like 2 or 3 months ago. We don't remember anything about it.
I think that's the hallmark of a good film, is when you instantly watch it and it just falls out of your brain.
I don't think I'm going to remember too much of Bullet Train in 6 months. I think Bullet Train's going to be a movie where I was like, oh yeah, I remember liking that, and I'll watch it again on streaming, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a Netflix movie. This is a Netflix movie. You would forget this movie came out. You wouldn't have seen it, and then 2 years from now, you'll be like, "What should I watch?" You'll see Bullet Train, and you'll see the reviews that are like 50, 60, 70s, and you'll be like, "That's a good streaming movie," and then you'll watch it and like it a lot.
I talked about that shit before, but that's where you find the good stuff. That's where you find like Joe starring Nicolas Cage. It's where you find like the movies that have weird stuff in them that doesn't work, but they're interesting and engaging.
Yeah, Hunt for the Wilder People. I found that on Netflix. That's fucking amazing. That's such a great movie.
Taika Waititi making actual good films, unlike the new Marvel film that came out. Fuck that.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's the other thing we didn't talk about. Do you think the blockbuster films still exist? Do you think that people are... That's the other thing that happened in the theater. We sat down to the fucking previews for the and Dan was like, look, Avatar 2 is coming out. And I was like, no, it's not. Are you paying attention to this fucking ad? And they're re-showing Avatar 1 in the theater.
I swear to God, it's not a joke or anything. They were showing, the Avatar 1 trailer, like, remade and stuff, and I was watching it being like, I turned to Jim and I was like, look, Avatar 2, like, are we going to see that? I started
laughing at him.
And I was like, why is he laughing? Whatever, Jim's being a fucking dickhead, why is he laughing at me? I'm asking him a question. But I was watching it, and then I saw the villain from the first movie, and I was like, I literally thought, whoa, that's kind of weird. How are they just going to reuse the first movie's villain? Didn't he die? And then Jim's like, that's the first one. They're just re-showing it. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know.
It's been so fucking long. It's been 13 years, so they're just going to re-show it. Do you think Avatar 2 is ever actually going to come out?
Doesn't it have a trailer? Isn't it like Way of the Water? Isn't that what it's called? I don't fucking know,
bro. I don't give a shit. I think I've said that a lot during this episode, but I don't give a shit.
Jim hates the modern movie industry.
I hate modern everything.
I think, I don't know, blockbuster movies, I think they'll... I don't really know, to be honest, because everyone... Like, if you're going to the movies, the blockbuster movies are like the Marvel movies right now and stuff like that. And fuck, I've been saying right now, but it's been for the last... how long is...
Marvel, like, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's about it.
But that's the thing, like, if you're going to a Marvel movie and you're like, I'm going to see the new Thor: Love and Thunder on day one, guaranteed you have Disney Plus and you've watched the other stuff. So eventually, why would they even pay money to Cineplex and all that stuff to do that when you can just...
wait for
I could months. I could see it morphing into a thing of, like, you pay for Disney Plus, and now we're releasing the next Thor movie,
and you pay
give us $6 more, and you can have it immediately, or you can wait a month. And then that's kind of like buying your ticket. I could see it morphing into that type of thing where it's like a subscription to be able to buy the movie. Yeah.
You think the theaters are going to die?
Yeah.
I think
see
the
theaters dying.
I think the theater industry is going to die. I think that just like analog records and music stores and shit like that, the little theaters, the Highlands of the world will continue.
I don't know how that place stays open. They must get like...
donations and stuff.
Yeah, they must have a lot of regulars, like people that see a lot of stuff, and that's their people.
That building, the Highland here, is like they make popcorn, they have snacks, and it's a room. That's it, and a bathroom. Like, there's not a lot of overhead cost to operating that.
It's not like it's a bustling area of the city either, so rent probably isn't that much.
They have a big archive of films on film. That they play every once in a while, and they get.
It's only a couple workers too.
They'll get the art show movies in. That's probably cheaper to get a license to show them, and that's just how you operate. And that's how theaters are going to keep going and stuff like that. Because having that much, floor space in a mall or near a mall, like we went to the Wellington 8, and it's a gigantic fucking
Silver
building.
City's built onto a mall. I bet Silver City's rent is like over 10. Or what am I saying? 10. it's probably closer to $50,000 to $100,000 a month for rent for that space.
If they don't own it, yeah. And that's just,
what about the employees? They have what? Probably 30 employees at a time there.
And like the way that theaters make their money is through concessions, through birthday parties, through shit like that. They don't actually make their money on the movies.
No, not at all. Not at fucking all.
And I'm not
do kids still do that? Have birthday parties at the movies?
Oh yeah. And I'm not going to spend $20 on a popcorn and a drink. Like here's the whole thing is that like going into my politics is that young people don't have any fucking money and we're going to spend it on shit we actually like, and if you have a problem with that, fuck you, basically.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But yeah, theaters are definitely going to change. They kind of need to change. We've already seen it in the last decade. Like, do you remember when Silver City had the ticket takers? You would have to stand in the line to get your seats. You couldn't do it online. You couldn't do it by kiosk or anything.
Yeah.
And then it morphed that you could do it online or you could do it there. And now it's morphed that there's literally no one that will take your ticket. It's all booths.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, give it another 15 years and it'll morph to,
you get a VR cubicle and they put a helmet on your head that's been sprayed haphazardly, and then you sit there and get bombarded by noise and sound, and then you leave.
I'll say one thing before we finish up. You know, some people really like doing that, watching movies in VR. Like, you sit in a virtual big screen environment and you watch it. And I've tried it. It sounds stupid, kind of, but I've tried it. It's more uncomfortable to have the headset on for that long, firstly, unless you have a nice, comfortable head strap. Like, I have a nice, comfortable head strap, but still, it's a little bit long for bulky headsets like that to watch a 2.5, 3 hour long movie. But it is weirdly, it feels huge. It feels like a huge environment.
That's the thing.
It's interesting.
I like when I watch a movie by myself and it's just me and the movie. It's just me sitting there.
Me and the movie.
And I got the lights off and I got my feet up and I'm just concentrating on the characters and the cinematography and the music. It's all hitting me at once and I'm just enjoying the shit out of it. And that VR experience sounds a lot like that, where you're in a big movie theater by yourself watching a movie and just being absorbed by it because you literally have headphones and fucking thing is strapped to your eyeballs.
Yeah, it's neat. They're mostly free, too. It's kind of like a VR chat-esque thing. There's an app you can download, or you can just join people's rooms like that. It's kind of neat.
But I think we're winding down here, Dan. Do you have any closing thoughts on theaters?
Theaters and Bullet Train and all that?
Yeah.
I'm sure Bullet Train will be out of the theater. Well, maybe not. If it still is, Bullet Train's a good... We went on a Tuesday to see it. Go see Bullet Train. Go to your local Highland. I'm sure lots of places, lots of little cities have movie theaters like that. Go to
support your local
industries. Film. Yeah.
That's what we say every time. Support your local businesses, for fuck's sakes. They're going to disappear.
Other than that, I don't have too much to add. It was a good time. Bullet Train was a good time with good friends. I totally get the reasoning. People are like, why do you even go to movies with friends? Because realistically, you sit there in the dark and don't say anything, and then the movie finishes. And unless you have plans to hang out after, you walk out into the parking lot and go, see you guys. Get in your cars and leave. But what about you, Jim? You got anything to say?
Yeah. I don't think theaters are going to exist the way they exist right now in 20 years. And I think before I was worried, because I was a big movie buff and considered myself a movie man, but now I just don't care. Like, movies are going to be around forever in some form or another, so I don't give a shit. Like, 50% of what I watch is just stuff on YouTube that independent creators make. So
literally, I've watched some shit on YouTube lately that I'm like, this is better than like 50% of the movies I see nowadays.
Documentaries and different things. And I'm just like, wow, this is a lot more legitimate than anything else. I as I've said 16 times in this episode, I do not give a rotten rat's ass. So, and Bullet Train was good. You should see it when it comes to Netflix. But for 100%. Next time, and the next topic.
Is it a movie?
No, it's going to be an easy one. It's going to be an easy one that I'm kind of cheating at. It's going to be talking about Call of Cthulhu.
That's a good one. Yeah, talk about Call of Cthulhu, talk about tabletop RPGs, talk about our shit with that.
Yeah. Cool. We probably talk about Mothership a bit, because I feel like I'm going to compare Mothership to Call of Cthulhu a lot while we're playing it. But yeah, maybe we'll have Patrick on or Cassie, because they're going to play with us and we can give a chat about it. But a nice, simple episode for next time.
That'll be nice. That'll be
as
nice
always, as we've been talking, I've been Jim. I'm at Popeye Barkin. The other guy is
My name is Danny, and I'm at Dan Sama on Twitter, and most importantly, follow the Shacko Back Twitter if you're still listening to us talk 55 minutes into our thing. Shacko Back Twitter's at Shacko Back Pod, and I usually tweet, it's my stream of conscious, and I like some epic anime memes.
Give us a rating on your podcast app of choice, iTunes,
Yep,
Spotify.
everywhere.
Give us a 5-star. Give us a review. Say how nice and velvety our voices are. As always, our intro music is by the wonderful, luxurious Lee Jackson on Twitter. You go follow him. All podcast art and animations by CassieHDesign.com, Dollbox02 on Instagram, and old Brandon Chen on ArtStation. Man needs to make a Twitter.
I think he might be starting to sell prints too soon, so keep a watch out for that if you like Deep Rock stuff.
Oh, yeah. If you go on the Deep Rock subreddit, you'll see Brandon's delicious art. Tinman888. He did specimen pictures of the glyphids and stuff that got 1 billion updates, and thank you, kind strangers. So
yeah,
go give that a look.
I think that's about it, Jim. I'm going to go tuck myself into bed.
Yeah, that's it. Me and Dan are probably going to play some Deep Rock or something and hang out. But that's been it for Shack Out Back this week. I brought us in. You take us out. What are you doing, Dan?
Oh, say. This is for the Queen. Say a moment of silence for the Queen. The Queen's passing.
Good night, darling.
Goodbye, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Dan.
Good night, everybody.